Hello, welcome everybody to the first week of your fantasy playoffs as we get ready as week 15 hits off. I'm going a little solo today. Bo had a kids event to get to. I'm going to do everything I can to help move you on in the playoffs and get you ready to possibly rebound off of a huge disappointing Cooper Cup week. The game on Thursday night was not what everybody expected. It was a rough one to enjoy with the Rams and the 49ers, low scoring contest, no touchdowns, I don't believe. It was a rough game to watch, rough game to start your fantasy playoffs, but hopefully we're here to help you rebuild and get ready for the playoffs and join in. I'll sit here and wait. Hopefully the questions start rolling in. It was, like I said, Thursday night. It was a crazy game this week. This week we have one of the highest scoring games that we're going to have all year in the Buffalo and Detroit game, as that is a 54.5 point over under. So that will be possibly one of the best games to watch offensively. Hopefully you guys have some players in your playoffs to help you boost your scoring after missing Thursday night's snooze fest there. I think it was Williams and Puka had the two best scores this past Thursday. So anybody that started Cooper Cup, I am one of those. I hopefully we'll have a bounce back with some of our other players in our lineups. There are some good matchups for your running backs and everything else this week. Charlie coming in with our first question here. He's got BTJ, D-Hop, and Flowers. So let's see. Baltimore's got the Giants. Flowers. I mean, it's a good matchup, but I don't know how much they're actually going to have to pass today with how bad the Giants are against the rush. Then let's see. You got D-Hop. So that's the Chiefs. They have Cleveland. That should actually be a pretty interesting matchup. And then you got BTJ with Mac Jones. I think I'm going to go with BTJ, and I think I'm going to go with Flowers here. I think those are going to be my best two here. I think I'll leave D-Hop out with Kelsey coming on and Xavier Worthy starting to see the ball more. And then you're getting Pacheco more involved. So I think I'm going to leave D-Hop out. I'm going to go BTJ and Flowers here. Flowers could end up taking one to the house on a screenplay or even a rush because the Giants are so bad on it. So I'm going to go with Flowers and BTJ. Mark with the defensive question. Sticks with Pittsburgh defense against Philly or the Jets versus the Jags. Let's see. Both about the same. I think I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh. You're going to get the turnover from Hurts. He seems to throw a pick in every single game, so you're going to get the turnover. You're probably going to get the pass rush and the sack there from Pittsburgh. The Jets defense, they've been serviceable, but they haven't been great. So I think I'm going to stick with what got me to the playoffs, and I think I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh and how well they've been playing this year overall, both on offense and defense. Mike Tomlin's always good about drawing it up, so I expect them to try to keep Hurts more in the pocket and make him throw. So I think I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh this week. So while we wait for a few more questions to roll in, let's talk about some of the guys that are going to be changing it up this week. You got Hayner starting as the quarterback for New Orleans versus Washington in what could be a pretty weird game to watch. The Saints are very vulnerable against the pass, so Terry McLaurin should be a good start there. Jay Daniels should be a good start. Alvin Kamara should be a great start without drawing a blank here, without Taysom Hill there. Chris Olave still out. So those are some of their best starts there in that game in my mind. B-Rob, I think, is going to have a phenomenal week. He's one of my favorite players this week. Me and Bo absolutely have been on the Brian Robinson train. all year. So I absolutely love Brian Robinson as a start this week. I love him to also find the end zone. He is not in my touchdown scores because to me, it was too obvious when me and Bo were taking him every single week to find the end zone. So I did try to go out of my way and try to find somebody else besides B-Rob, but I do think that's a juicy matchup. Another game on the noon slate is Cincy and Tennessee. This game is going to turn. You're going to see Jamar Chase go nuts. You're going to see Jamar Chase go nuts probably on this game here, just like he has been. So if you have Kupp and Chase, you should be at a good point because Chase should probably do it. I'll get back to that game here shortly as we get some questions rolling in. Tony says he took a big hit with Kupp and McConkey. McConkey's questionable. I think McConkey's about 60% chance that he's going to play and take a small dip, and he plays at 4. And that Kupp one hurt a lot of people. I'm one of them. Me and the league that my pops have been. My pops have been in. We've been the leading scorer all year and got the 1 seed, and then we take this huge hit by Kupp. Let's see. I can't make changes after the early game, so take a chance to McConkey or roll with Reed and Adunze. Oh, man. Adunze's got Minnesota. He's been fine in the end zone, but he only saw 5 targets last week. Reed has been – I think I'm actually going to go with Jaden Reed this week. I think Reed is going to be a good start here. I think I'll take Reed over McConkey just because I'm not sure what the entire status of McConkey will be. So I think I'm going to take Reed if you can't make any changes. Shane comes at us with CJ Stroud or Tua. Houston's got Miami. I'm going to go with they got each other. I think I'm going to go with I think I'm going to go with Tua. I think Tyreek's starting to get back on it, so I think I'm going to go with Tua, and I like that. And I like Miami to pull up the upset this week, so I think I'm going to lean. I don't think I'm going to lean Tua on this one. Tony's coming back at us with my Seahawks or the Chargers. As you see, I'm representing my Santa hat. I'm getting in the Christmas spirit. I'm not the most Christmas person, but the Chargers have. I just was looking at this game. I'm drawing a blank on it. I don't really like Seattle's matchup against Green Bay. That's been too good. The Chargers against Tampa Bay. I think I'm going to lean the Chargers. I think I'm going to lean the Chargers here. I think they're going to get in there, get the sacks, get the pressure there on Tampa Bay, and keep Baker at bay. So I think I'm going to lean the Chargers because I think they're going to have to focus on slowing that team down. Shane came back with Stroud and Tua again. I'm still going to lean Tua on that one. So I like that matchup. I actually like both of them today, but I think I'm going to lean Tua just by a little bit on that. So I'll get back to talking about some of these games on the noon slate as I wait for a few more to roll in. Oh, here we go. Kraft or Laporta. Kraft has Seattle. Seattle's been very vulnerable against the tight end and across the middle. McBride just completely torched us. I think he was about the only bright side in that game. Let's see. Guess we haven't been as bad against tight end as I thought. And then Laporta has, Detroit has. See, I think that one's going to end up being a run fest as well here. I just was looking at that one too. I just wrote all these games down as my printer decided to take a big no, I'm not going to help you this week. I think I'm going to lean Kraft. I think I'll lean Kraft on that one. No, I take that back. Give me Laporta in the 54.5-point game. That's why I was looking at it, the highest point scoring game of the week. Give me Sam Laporta. I expect that game to be the running backs will be highly involved, but I still think that ball is going to fly all day. I think that's going to be a 60-plus point. I'm taking the over in it. Sorry, guys, I got started a little late, so I'm a little confused on some of my stuff, but I'm getting there. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Laporta. Landon comes out and start Smart, O'Connell, or Bellinger in 1.5-point PPR tight end premium. I'm going with Smart. I absolutely love Smart. You have no other tight ends there in for the Chargers. They like to lean on their tight ends. I'm going to go with Smart, and I think that's going to be a great matchup for him. Right? I'm reading the right name. Yeah. Let's see. Gladys comes at us with Stevenson or Swift. Let's see. Stevenson or Swift. Swift has Minnesota, who's been very decent. Let's see. Let's pull up these rankings real fast. And Swift. Stevenson. There it is. Give me Stevenson. We just torched Arizona on the ground with Zach Charbonnet, and I think Swift and Charbonnet have pretty good similar skill sets. So give me Stevenson this week. I expect a huge, good week out of him. So I'm going to go with Stevenson. Landon comes back out with us with Andrews or Jonnu Smith. Jonnu was on a roll, and last week we said you got to roll with the hot hand, and then it was a rough week all the way up until the overtime. Then he had 3 catches and a touchdown in the overtime. So we know him. They trust in us in the tight spots. I think I'm actually going to lean Jonnu over Andrews just because I'm not sure how much they're going to have to throw the ball. I think they're going to be able to run all over the Giants there in Baltimore. So I think it's going to be huge games for Henry and Lamar. And I think Flowers is even going to get a few touches on the ground. So I don't know how much we'll need Andrews. So I think I'm going to go Jonnu here. So let's get back into some of these news. Cincinnati and Tennessee is 46.5 points. It's actually a lot closer in the spread than I thought with only 4.5 points. So that should be a pretty good, fun game. Tennessee, Pollard is back. So it'll be a little slower on the ground with both of them back. And then you go over to Miami and Houston. This is going to be an entertaining game. Both teams are high-powered, have great receivers, great quarterbacks, decent defenses, so it's going to be extremely fun to watch. Gladys is coming back with us with bench one, Judy, Hill, Thielen, or Neighbors. This is a tough one. I absolutely love Thielen's matchup this week against Dallas and the abysmal secondary. Neighbors has probably one of the best matchups because he's going to be from behind. The secondary in Baltimore is always vulnerable. And then you got Judy, who plays Kansas City, who can't give up some yards through the air. Then you got, I'm assuming that's Tyreek Hill, and I can't bench Tyreek Hill. So I think I'm actually going to have to bench Judy this week. And I hate to say it after the huge explosion he had, but that Miami-Houston game, as I was just talking about, it's going to be an interesting one. I think they're going to throw the ball quite a bit in that game. So I think I'm actually going to bench Judy this week against Kansas City. I know it's rough to say, but that's who I think I'm going to bench. Thielen's matchup is too tasty. Bijan Tony has Bijan as RB1. So at RB2, he's looking at Tracy Stevenson or B-Rob. Man, I like Stevenson against Arizona. Tracy against Baltimore. I don't know how much they're going to be able to run the ball. I'm going to go with B-Rob. I absolutely love that matchup there against New Orleans. So I think I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. New Orleans is 4th worst against the running backs. So I think I'm actually going to go with Brian Robinson as my RB2. I do think Stevenson should be a good game or should be a good player this week too, but I think I'm going to lean B-Rob on this one. Jennifer coming at us. Good morning. Good morning, Jennifer. I guess coming at me. I guess I am alone this week. Good morning, Jennifer. Waddle or Warren? Pitt's got Philly. I think I'm going to go with Waddle here. I like I said, I like that. I like that game this morning or this afternoon, early this afternoon with the Miami-Houston game. So I think I'm going to go with Waddle. Next up is Jennifer asked, shouldn't be a question, but AJ Brown or BTJ and Brian Thomas. I think I'm going to go with AJ Brown. I don't really like the matchup, but I like what he brings to the table against that team, for that team. So I think I'm going to go with AJ Brown. Let me double check. I believe the tight end is out this week in Goddard. So it should be. I know I'm a little slow on the handles today here. Yeah, I think I'm leaning AJ Brown. I like that matchup. I don't like the matchup, but I do like what he brings in. So I think I'm going to go with AJ Brown. Jennifer also asked Ridley, McCormick, Ray, Javonte Smith. Need one receiver and two flexes. Let's see. Ridley, McCormick. So Tennessee has. Okay. I'm going to start Devonta Smith. And that's telling you now. I'm telling you to start. I'm telling you to start two Eagles. I hope this is separate leagues because I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. And the Raiders have, I think that's a pretty good matchup that Vegas has in against Atlanta. Atlanta's pretty actually stout against the D. Let me take Ridley, Smith, and I'll take McCormick. I'll take McCormick out of the backfield there. Goddard is on the IR, so both receivers should have a good game. I don't know why I didn't know that one. So yeah. So give me Devontae, give me Brown, or give me Devontae, give me Ridley, and give me McCormick starting for those three. I like those matchups there. Tony asked Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, or Romo Dunze. I really want to say a Dunze just because I am a Huskies fan, but I can't go that route. I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I expect him to have a good game this week there against the Chargers. So I'm going to go with Mike Evans there. Since Mike Evans has returned, I do want to put this out. Cade Ott has been tight end 21 since Mike Evans has returned. So he's no longer just guaranteed startable Cade Otton, but that just shows how much more that he is leaning on Evans. So I'm going to take Evans. Tony asks, Lamar probably in a blowout versus the Giants or golf versus Buffalo. I'm not benching either quarterback in that Lions Buffalo game. That is the game that should be able to help you get back on track after Thursday. I expect St. Brown to go off. I honestly expect Laporta and Lamar or Laporta and Goff to all have great games. Buffalo side, I expect that to be a fun one to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and start Goff versus Buffalo. I expect that to be a good game. Lots and lots of points on there. They're inside the dome too, so you don't have to worry about anything with the weather of Buffalo. So give me Goff in that one. Jonathan asked Tua or Murray. We've already talked about Tua has Houston, so I think that's a good matchup. And then Arizona has New England. I think I'm still going to lean Tua. I like that matchup this week. The over-unders are about the same there. So yeah, I think I'm going to lean with Tua on that one there. It should be a good game, and both quarterbacks, Tua and Stroud, should be very serviceable. But I think I'm going to lean Tua to have a good week. He's starting to get his rhythm back with his receivers. So I like what he's bringing to the table this week. So in the Kansas City-Cleveland game, there's a 65 to 70% chance of rain. I don't think it's really going to affect that game too much. Temper expectations on your running back, as Casey is one of the best against the running backs. They are the best against the running back still. So I expect that to be Jameis Winston has to air the ball out. So I expect a lot of turnovers. The KC defense could be a good streaming defense if they are out there. That should be a good one there. It'll probably come down to a last play like every single Chiefs games has this year. So that should be a good one. Dallas and Carolina, who would have thought this would have been a 2.5 point spread by the Vegas lines? But the secondary's out. Bryce Young's playing phenomenal. I love this matchup for Thielen. I love this matchup for Chuba Hubbard this week. I think those are two guys you have to try to get into your lineups. As for Dallas, CeeDee Lamb should be just fine, just like always. And great guy to start. We'll get back to that game in just a second. Jennifer coming at you with Russ, Gino, or Rodgers. Play two. I'm going to go with Gino. I like Gino. I think I'm going to go with Gino, and I think I'm actually going to go with Rodgers. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Rodgers over Russ this week. Just because they do play the Jags give up so much. So I think I'm going to go with Gino and Rodgers. I think I'm going to have to put Russ on the back burner against Philly. Philly's defense has really been coming on. So I think I'm going to lean Gino and Rodgers. So that Dallas Carolina game, it's 42.5 points. I expect a lot of offense out of your running backs. Rico Dowdle has really come on as a running game for Dallas. So that should be a good one. Jets and Jags, I expect that to be a run fest, the lowest scoring game on the week. It's going to be a slow paced game. You'll see some points out of your running backs, some catches out of the backfield, but that's going to be a slower paced game. Baltimore, New England, I expect Baltimore to jump all over them and show everyone why they are the best team in the NFL in my mind. I expect them to jump out to a huge lead and then milk it with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. That's your noon slate. The noon slate's going to be a good one. You got a couple games that are over, but then you have that slow and steady game with the Jets and Jackson, the Jets and the Jags. So the afternoon slate is where you really get into. It's really where you're going to get into a lot of your points. You got the 54.5 point over under in Buffalo at Detroit. That's going to be a great game. Should be a great game, I should say. It should be a fun one to go and watch or keep on your TV and watch. While I got a little bit of downtime, I'm going to jump into my underdog plays of the week. So I'm going to hit that real quick. All right, I'm going to jump back over to your questions here in just a moment. I'm going to rattle off my underdog plays of the week real fast. I got Derrick Henry to go higher than 19.5 yards. That's his longest rush this week. They're playing the Giants. I expect him to see lots. This will probably happen in the second half after he wears them down and beats the crap out of them. So I expect Henry. I got James Conner higher than 74.5 rush yards. I expect this to be a great game for James Conner on the ground. He's got a great matchup against New England. So I expect them to pound the ball with him. And then this will lead, I'll get to this one in just a minute, as it's going to lead right into our next question there from Gladys. So I'm going to put it on the screen and I'll get to this in just 1 second. I got Bo Nix to go higher than 258.5 total yards. That's rushing and passing. I expect him to air the ball out, have a good game this week against Indy. And then I got Adam Thielen higher than 50.5 receiving yards. Like I said, I love the matchup there. I expect him to have a great game. He's becoming the safety blanket of Bryce Young. And then as Aubrey or Gladys is asking, she's got a kicker as Aubrey. I'm thinking about changing it to Koo. My best underdog play of the week is Koo to go over 1.5 field goals made, but I still don't think I can give up starting Aubrey. She's been one of the most consistent kickers this week. So I think I'm going to stick with Aubrey. Elliot, good morning. Good morning, Elliot. Love or Goff? I'm going with Jared Goff in that game. As much as Love could end up torching our secondary, I think I'm going to go with Jared Goff there. Like I said, this is one of the highest point matchups. It's going to be a phenomenal shootout, or what it should be. So I think I'm going to go with Goff, and I'm going to keep him out there. Scott coming at us with the full point PPR. Start 2. Nico, AJ Brown, or Amaron. I'm going to go with Amaron. I can't bench anybody in that game this week. I expect too many points. I'll type it out for you, Elliot, as I just saw that. So Elliot, I can't bench Amaron. So I'm going to keep him in there. Nico or AJ Brown. Ooh, this is a tough one. I think I'm actually going to lean AJ Brown on this one. Let's see. Let me. Now, you know what? Give me Nico Collins. Give me Nico in there. Give me Nico and Amaron. Like I said, I expect that game to be fun. Give me Nico and Amaron St. Brown. All right, we're going to get down here to Ryan. No problem, Elliot. I'm happy that I could do that for you. Hopefully everybody else can hear me. I'm not sure what's going on. Ryan, he needs one. PPR, good morning. Jacobs, Connor, or Monty need to take one out. I'm sorry, you have to take one out because all those matchups are. I think I'm going to take Jacobs out just because I'm not going to say Seattle's going to shut him down. Jacobs has been so matchup proof. Oh my goodness, this is so tough because Jacob's been so good. Monty has been so. Man, Monty's matchup is too tasty. Buffalo allows the most receiving yards to backs. Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna take Connor out. This is the toughest question I've had this morning, Ryan. I'm gonna take Connor out. Jacobs has been too good. Seattle has been vulnerable to the running backs. I know we've been doing a lot better since the bye. But yeah, give me take Connor out. All right, Elliot, Gladys, and thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. And let's get over here to Dennis. Herbert or Kyler? We'll start with that one. Give me Herbert. I like that. I like this game to turn into using the QB's arms. So I think I'm going to go with Herbert here. And start 3. You got Lamb, Flowers, London, McConkey, and Hawkinson. I think I'm going to go with the first 3. I like Lamb, Flowers, and London. I like those this week. McConkey is banged up, so he should have a little dip in his production. So I think I'm gonna leave him on the bench. And Hawkinson against Chicago, I think it's going to be a good game. I think Minnesota's going to end up whooping them, but I like the first 3 to have better games. Derrick Henry, there's a good chance. I'll stick with the 2 touchdowns. It's probably plus money. I know that's probably what you're looking at. Derrick Henry probably will find the end zone twice this week, constant. So I do like that matchup, and I'll stick with 2. I don't want to get too risky. He may end up with 12 by the end of the game. Who knows? Scott says flex Charbonnet or Montgomery. Here's another tough one. Charbonnet was so good last week, but Buffalo gives up so many yards through the pass. Oh, where's Green Bay? I think I'm actually going to lean Monty on this, and this might be the only time I tell you to take out Charbonnet is for a player in this game. I'm looking real fast. The Packers are right there in the middle. Buffalo's are. I think I have to start Monty over Charbonnet, and I absolutely positively hate saying that because of how good of a game he had last week. But I think I have to start Monty because of how good he's been all year. So I'll get into my touchdown scores real fast as we hit the halfway point. We wait for a few more questions to roll in. I got Derrick Henry to find the end zone in that great matchup. I expect him, like I just told Constant, I expect him to find it probably once or twice or possibly 4 or 5 times. He should have a phenomenal game against the Giants. Then I expect Chuba Hubbard. I went with all running backs this week to find the end zone. I'm going with Chuba Hubbard to find the end zone this week against Dallas. Once again, I love that matchup. Aaron Jones to find the end zone against Chicago. We pick on Chicago all the time, so I'm going to go with Aaron Jones to find the end zone. And then I also have James Conner to find the end zone in that Arizona-New England game. Scott says his other running backs are Barkley and Jacobs. Yeah, I think I have to. I think I lean Monty. I hate taking Charbonnet out, but that game with the 54.5 point over-under, you could see everybody that starts in a skill position find the end zone. So I think I still have to I still am going to lean Monty. Monty's also the safer play in my mind. You know how much he's going to get after what Charbonnet did. Could he duplicate it or could he end up hanging up a low number? I mean, I didn't realize they were going to feed him the ball that much last week. So I think I will stick with Monty as being the safer play and possibly one of the bigger plays. So I got this written down. I'll go over it just a little bit. I wrote down a few things to get over some downtime. Some of the worst rush defenses in the NFL giving up the fantasy points. Chicago's number 30. They give up over 5 yards per carry. So that's why we pick on their running backs almost every single week. The Giants, terrible against the run. They're number 29. Then you got Washington's 28. New England's 27 and Seattle's 26. So Seattle is not the greatest. So Jacobs should be a good start. I know Seattle was one of the worst. We've turned it on. From after the bye week. He's down from Purdy and Kittle. Sharp could blow up this week again. I'm going to lean Monty. I'm still going to lean Monty. I'm going to stick with the safer play. They both play in the afternoon. Let's see. Barkley's in the afternoon as well. All four of them are in the afternoon, so you don't even get to see if you really need a shot. Yeah, I still have to lean Monty on that one. I've got to go with the safer play. I don't know how much they're going to feed Sharps this week, so I think I'll lean with Monty. Here we go. Jeff Scott, one wide receiver, one flex. JSN, BTJ, B-Rob, DK, and Cooper. Give me B-Rob, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I like B-Rob's matchup, so give me B-Rob. And I'm going to lean JSN on that one. I expect JSN to be the beneficiary of most of the secondary being out in Green Bay, so I like JSN. Patrick comes at us with Jameson or Herbert at the later game with Ladd questionable. Could pick up Kirk, Wilson, or Stroud. See, Kirk Cousins could end up with a great game this week against the Raiders, but he has been so many interceptions has been thrown. I think I'm going to lean Herbert here. I think I'm going to lean with Herbert over Tampa Bay. I think that's going to be a good game there with a lot of passing. So I'm going to lean Herbert and keep him even with Ladd questionable. I think I go Herbert. Jeff comes back with start 2, half-point PPR, Mooney, Adams, BTJ. I'm going to go with Mooney. Start 2. I think I'm going to go with Mooney and BTJ. That's who I think I'm going to lean with here. I just don't know how much they're going to have to pass. It's so tough. Mooney I like. Give me Mooney and Adams. I'll set BTJ. Give me Adams. All right, Trey comes at us with Nick Joku or McBride. You can't bench McBride. McBride is Kyler Murray's binky. Anytime that he's in trouble, he looks for McBride. So you can't bench McBride. He's too good. He's matchup proof. So I think I'm going to go with McBride here. All right, Scott comes with us. Okay, thank you. In a different league, full point PPR, BTJ, Ridley, or Devonta Smith. I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. Even though they're playing Pittsburgh, I think I have to go with Devonta Smith here. Tennessee could be playing from behind. Yeah, I think I'm still going to go with Devonta Smith. I expect them to try to keep Hurts in the pocket in Pittsburgh and make him throw. So I think I'm going to go with Devonta Smith in a full point PPR. All right, Jeff comes back. Start 2, PPR. BTJ, MHJ, DK, Jonathan Taylor, Scary Terry. I'm going to go with Scary Terry. I love this matchup for Washington this week. So I'm going to go with Scary Terry. And for my second one, Indy has Denver, man. That defense is tough. Give me Terry and DK here. Arizona has. Let me just double check this. Terry is my must start. Yeah, give me Terry and give me DK in that one. All right, Jennifer says, in a guillotine league, I played Cup and Kittle. I am sorry. So, yes, you do need the upside. I have Monty in as running back. In a flex, I have Sharp, Sutton, and Lamb. Should I change and bench any Chuba, B-Rob, JSN, and Cook? Jennifer, I hate to say this, but use your gut on this one. You can see huge games out of Cook in that game here. But Sutton has been very, very good for Denver. I expect Knicks to have a great game. CD Lamb is CD Lamb. He could blow up for a 50-point game, and Charbonnet. God, BS or Chuba and Cook have such good matchups. Chuba and Cook could be huge, huge plays this week. But so could Charbonnet. I would say go Chuba. He has proven to be matchup proof over Charbonnet just because look what he did against the last few weeks that he's done. So I would probably go Chuba over Charbonnet, and that might be the only change I make. Jeff says playoffs in 3 leagues. LOL. That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. That's why we're here. Me and Bo both have made playoffs in multiple of our leagues, except for the one league that we're together and tanking in. I accidentally made the playoffs in a league I thought I was tanking in. So that's a good thing to be in 3 playoffs. That means you're still here, you're still kicking, you're still playing. Dickie comes out as Jonnu or Hawkinson. Or the Bears against the Titans. I think I'm going to go with Hawkinson on that one. And then I'm going to go Ramondre over Tracy in that. I love Ramondre's matchup. He has, like I said, the same skill set as Charbonnet does. So I think I'm going to go with Ramondre in that one. And then do I flex Ridley? I think you keep Ridley in your flex there over anybody else. Like I said, they could be playing from behind. So I expect that to be a chance for Ridley to really get involved. So, yeah, I think I'm going to flex him. All right. Good morning, June, as my niece hops on here. Good morning. Good to hear from you. Hope school and everything's going well. Let's go. Tony comes at us with Zach Ertz or Pitts. Man, I love that matchup. But the Saints, I think the Saints are actually halfway decent against the tight end. The Raiders. I'm going to go with Pitts here. The Raiders are terrible against tight end. They're number 2 or number 3 and giving up points to the tight end. So I think I'm going to go with Pitts here. I know it's a tough thing to say, but I think I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts here. So let's talk about this Buffalo Detroit game. This game, it's inside. You have 2 of the most high-powered offenses going together. Detroit has a great defense that could possibly slow down. Could slow them down. But I expect this to be a really high-scoring game. You're inside. Josh Allen is too smart. The way they've been playing, the way Buffalo's been playing, it's too good. I expect this to be a huge game. All right, Ryan's coming at us with Mike Evans, Brian Thomas, or Devontae Smith. I've been on Devontae all day, but this one here, I think I got to lean Mike Evans. Like I said earlier, he's almost made K. Dotton obsolete since he came back, so I think I'm going to go with Mike Evans here. I enjoy that play. Let's see, what else can we talk about here? We talked about the weather. We've talked about some of the worst TDs. It's playoff time, guys. When it starts to, the day starts out slow, probably with that noon slate, as you see a lot of lower scoring games on the noon slate or blowouts in the Baltimore Giants game. Your games will come to fruition there in the second half. You got a lot of high scoring games in that second half. The lowest one is that 42.5 with Philly and Pittsburgh. So that would be a good one to watch. But I think the best one, like I said, it's Buffalo and Detroit. I keep going back to that. And then you got 2 games on Monday night. You got Chicago at Minnesota and Atlanta at the Charger or at the Raiders. So those should be some good matchups. I expect Aaron Jones to ball out on Chicago, as they are not very good. As we discussed, they're number 30 against the rush. They give up so many yards to the running back. I expect Aaron Jones to be the beneficiary of that game. Atlanta and Atlanta and the Raiders, that should be a pretty decent game to watch. Atlanta would be really needs to get a win and get back on track to try to win that division and or stay in the control of that division. So that should be a good one to be watching. It's going to be a good week of football. I know it's a little slow here, a little slower with the playoff start and some players. Some people are out. Some teams are still in. Some teams have a bye. Hopefully next week it really picks up because I'm hoping we've led most of you guys to bye weeks. And you're just playing to move on or just waiting to see who you play next week. So it should be, it should be an interesting week this week. No real weather issues, lots of games inside this week. Should be a good week of football, enjoyable. As we always do, I'm going to talk about my food. Since Seattle plays later, I'm actually going to cook dinner tonight. That was the one thing my wife asked me. She's like, Seattle doesn't play till the nightcap, so you could at least cook. And I said, well, I guess I will. I'm going to try a chicken bacon ranch casserole tonight. So it should be a really interesting meal tonight to try. Hopefully I don't mess it up too bad. So that's what I'm eating on today. So as we wait for a few more questions, I try not to have too much quiet time in here. If you guys want anything asked, any questions for upcoming weeks, don't hesitate to put these in the comments. Trey says, I'll see you at dinner. Come on, we had to double the recipe because I didn't have a pan small enough to make the single batch. So come on over. You're always welcome. You can watch Seattle, hopefully beat Green Bay. We've struggled at home, so that's going to be an interesting. I don't understand it. We used to be one of the best home teams, but we've struggled at home this year. So we'll see how it goes. Green Bay's too good. Green Bay is a great team to just overlook. Let's pull up some wide receivers with good matchups this week while we wait here. Jacoby Myers, as you saw, I believe it was already posted up, as you saw with our the Fantasy Holics NFL prop bets this week. Jacoby Myers over or higher than 59.5 receiving yards is a good one. So that should be a good one there. Amon St. Brown, as I agree with, I expect 67.5 to go over. Those are what we have posted on the website as well. What are your thoughts on what happened with Kupp? My thoughts are you didn't even realize you made the playoffs until I told you that Kupp hung a goose egg in our ESPN league. I think it was a rough outing. You're going to bounce us from the playoffs, and you didn't even know you were there at first. So I don't know. Scott says, is DK doing anything tonight? I sure hope he does. It's the JSN show. They've been scheming up ways to get him the ball. He finds himself in space when the play breaks down. So JSN, I believe, is starting to become the number one there in Seattle. I honestly did say it, and my buddies looked at me like I was stupid. I thought DK was going to be on the move at the trade deadline. I still think that there's a chance he's on the move. But I hope he does something tonight. Their secondary is all banged up. DK should be able to have a chance to really get back on track tonight. Yeah, it should be a good one. Let's see. Scott asked, DK or D-Hop? If you just asked you going to do anything, I think I'm going to lean DK on this one. D-Hop's going to probably come out. Let me see. So D-Hop last week had a pretty good standard league. Give me DK. I think DK has the better option of finding the end zone in a standard league. I'm looking up D-Hop real fast. He's been – I know he had a couple receptions last week. Excuse me. Let's see. Last week he had 9 targets, 4 around the end zone as well. You know what? I'll stick with DK on that one. I'll stick with DK over there. Charlie asked, Waddle or Tracy in the flex? How much is Tracy going to be used? I like the setup. I like the fact he can catch some balls, but how much is it going to be used? And give me Tracy. I'll take Tracy. Trey, that's how do I think AJ Brown's going to do? Is he going to go off or bust? I think he's going to have a pretty average game. I don't think he's going to snap off. That's a tough defense against Pittsburgh. I do expect a good game without Goddard. Both teams are going to, without Goddard, both wide receivers are going to have to feast and play well. So I expect him to have a pretty good game. I don't think he's going to snap off for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I do expect him to have probably a touchdown and probably close to 100 yards receiving. That's two of your best defenses going at it, and 2 offenses that have two of your best offense and best defenses as Philly's starting to come on in that Pittsburgh and Philly game. That's your lowest scoring game in the afternoon. So that should be a fun one to watch. Let's see. So the Jaguars play the Jets. So that's a good matchup for Rodgers as the Jags give up the worst to QBs. I still don't know how much they're going to throw the ball. Trying to cover up some things here. So you guys, it's Christmas time. As Fatboyz come back at you around Christmas, it's going to be it's going to be fun. We will have to adjust our schedules a little bit as I'm going up to Chicago the day after Christmas to watch the Seahawks play the Bears. And then Christmas on a Wednesday. I know we got games coming up. So we will be flexing our schedule a little bit. Sorry. So it's that week coming up. It's going to be fun. All coming up. I know Bo's at a event for his kids this week. So in the next week, I have an event that I have to attend. So back and forth, but then right as Christmas hits, we'll get back together. Hopefully lead you guys to that fantasy championship and get you guys, moving on in the offseason in the right direction. The Fatboyz, as we do get into the offseason, you guys that do dynasty leagues, we cast every week. We talk about all week. We talk about our all off season. We'll talk about the incoming rookies, the rookie drafts, best spots, players to trade for, players to trade away. We continue to cover your dynasty leagues all off season. So make sure you stay in tune with the Fatboyz. Adam, what's up? It's playoff time. I had Swift in my lineup, but I can't risk waiting until Monday. I'm putting Cook back in. I would probably I'm assuming that's James Cook, and I'd probably go ahead and put him back in. I know Detroit's good against the run, but I think he's going to see a lot of catches and be utilized quite a bit. So I think I'd be okay with putting Cook back in over Swift this week. Minnesota's pretty tough against the rush, if I do remember. They're number 3 against the running back, so I probably would put James Cook back in. So I'm going to go, let's see. The Chiefs, the Lions, and the Vikings and Falcons are your top 4 against running backs. So your running backs always have tough matchups against them. But we saw, yes, it is James Cook. Yes, Adam, I would put James Cook back in. James Cook back in. I definitely like that matchup this week. We saw Chuba play those guys and have very good success against those teams. So you're talking about Chuba Hubbard's probably matchup proof now. James Conner sees too much work in games that are too close. So both of those are matchup proof as you guys start talking about starts and sits. Yeah, Swift is still questionable. He's expected to play, and they're not expecting too much of a dip. So Swift is questionable. Should I start Cook or B-Rob in a PPR league? I think I'm going to go B-Rob here. As much as I do like that matchup, the Lions are tough against the run. But I think I like B-Rob a little bit better this week, just a little bit. It's not much of a difference there. I think they're both going to have similar weeks. I think I like B-Rob just a little bit because I think they're going to be using him to salt away that game with a 7.5 point lead or 7.5 point spread. I expect B-Rob to get a lot of work in the later part of that game to salt it away. And New Orleans is not good against the running back, so he can end up breaking off some good runs there. I know it's PPR, but I still think I'll lean Robinson Jr. there. Excuse me, coming off this cold has been a little rough. Stone Smart is a guy that we talked about just a little bit today there and for the Chargers. If you're in a tight end desperation, B-Rob or Stone Smart could be a start one with no Disley and Will Disley and no Hayden Hurst. So Stone Smart's about the only tight end left. All right, then comes at us with Waddle or Thielen. Non-PPR. I'm going to go with Thielen. I like his yard upside this week. I absolutely love this matchup. PPR would be a little bit better than, but I think I'm going to go with Thielen here. And then Kraft or Andrews. Let me pull this up real fast. So Seattle against the tight end is middle of the road. And then Ravens at the Giants. Middle. I think I'm going to go with Kraft over Andrews just because I don't think they're going to have to throw the ball very much there in. I don't think they're going to have to throw the ball very much in that game there. I think it's going to be a blowout. Jennifer asks, would you start Stone, the backup in Philly, Andrews, or Otten? I think I would start Stone. Let's see. The Chargers have Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay are one of the worst against tight ends. I think I would start Stone Smart over all those. It's rough. Otten, as I went over, has been tight end 21 since Mark Andrews returned. Mike Evans has returned. I can't trust Andrews this week, which means he's probably going to go off. So everybody that I've told to bench, you may want to start him. But I don't trust that game. I expect them just to run the ball down their throat and salt this game away, do what Baltimore does best. So I don't know how much Andrews is going to get used, but I do like Stone there in that game. So that's one. He's Stone's last one on the tight end depth chart there. Coleman is set to make his return against in the game today against Detroit. Mark comes at us with a Dunze or Jonnu Smith in the flex PPR. Give me Roma Dunze. I know it took a while. Let me just double check something real fast. Houston against the tight ends. They're number 8. Yeah, I'm going to take Roma Dunze here. I expect because I believe Houston's a little. Yeah, Houston gives up more to the wide receivers, so Nico. Yeah, give me Roma Dunze. I'll take a Dunze on that one as the Vikings give up the second most fantasy points to wide receivers. Give me Rome in that. Give me Rome in that one. I like that matchup for Rome this week. He's been starting to really come on with that team. They're starting to use him in the red zone as he saw 2 touchdowns. Chicago's just really weird this year. They had that stretch of pretty good games, and then they just kind of fell off. And I don't know what they're doing there in Chicago. I understand they're starting to let their coaching staff go. And hopefully it works out for them in the long run. They do have a great core there with Caleb Williams, who's going to be just fine, and then you still have Swift in the backfield, Roshawn Johnson. So it's tough. It's tough. Melissa asked, Kelsey, Mooney, or Flowers in a flex spot? I think I go with Kelsey. Kelsey's been so reliable lately. They've been starting to use him more. I think I'm going to go with Kelsey there. I do like how that setup is. The game should stay close, just as every Kansas City game is. And even if Kelsey's had like 3 points going into the final drive and they got to drive to finish the game, he's probably going to have 4 catches on that final drive. So I'm going to go with Kelsey over Mooney and Flowers there in my flex spot. I absolutely hate starting tight ends, but Kelsey's anything but a tight end in my mind. He's a cheat code still to this day, even at his age and the slow year that he started to have, but he's still a cheat code. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. Week 1, we started out in that crazy game, as everyone thought. The Rams and the Niners were going to be a crazy game, and then you have a snooze fest there. Fantasy points. You guys that are playing from behind, I feel for you, as I had Cup in multiple leagues. So that one's rough. Luckily, in one league, I did have Puka going too, so I was able to at least cash in on one of the better plays of the week. But good luck to you guys. Good luck to you guys. It's going to be an interesting week this week. Good luck as we move on. I'm going to end this just a little bit early as the questions roll in. If they roll in this last minute, I'll answer. But it's going to be interesting. Good luck. Join us back here next week as we get you moving on. Like I said, hopefully a lot of you guys had buys and you're going to come back next week and we're going to have all sorts of questions and everything else. I know it's a slower week. We had probably 6 to 8 players of very relevancy play on Thursday. So a lot of questions were already answered as you got to get your boom plays in. But as always, stay hungry and stay fat, my friends.